Welcome, everybody. Blood in the streets, blood in the cryptoverse. Here is where we are right now. It's 9 a.m., and you know what time it is. It's the game plan time. And I'm here to walk you through everything you need to know about the markets. We're going to cover commodities, crypto, and stocks. Let's get it rocking and rolling, guys. All right. So first off, we're going to jump over here. We have Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, a monstrous tumble. Now, the key with Bitcoin, look at this flush. I've been telling everyone to watch out for this trend line, right? So if we zoom out on this chart, and again, I want to just say this, folks. There are a lot of influencers out there, tons of them, and they're always saying, hey, it's going to all-time highs, it's going to do this, don't worry, it's a new bull market. These people, they've been trading for 3, 4, 5 years, maybe a couple cycles in crypto. Folks, I've been trading now for 24 years. I've been day trading, literally making multiple trades every single day, in and out, swing trading. And even I still make mistakes. And the point is that to learn how to read this stuff, it doesn't happen in a few years trading a few buys on Bitcoin or in the crypto world. It doesn't. You need to be careful who you follow. I was warning everyone at 31,000. I said, guys, I don't think it's getting through here. I think it's pulling back. And no one, again, very few, I should say, believe me. Here you have it right here. This is the charts. The charts give us probabilities. I want to be the casino, not the gambler. Being the casino, I'm going to be wrong sometimes, but overall, I'll win more than I don't. And that's the key. All right, so here's your 31,000 level. We know here it hit multiple times. This was the telltale sign. This reversal, you closed above, you got a reversal candle. Reversal candles, technically speaking, are bearish signals. When you have a green and then an equal size red reversing, especially where it's the only candle that really closes above that line, you have to say that's a warning sign. We then saw markets kind of go to sleep. Anytime the market goes to sleep and you have bearish signals, be very careful. And the reason I say that is because the volume starts drying up, which means once you get a break of 28,000, it's almost like a trap door opening up and you collapse through it because there's no buyers. There's no buyers here, right? We know that the volume on Bitcoin over the last couple months has gotten anemic. So once you have stops here, tons of people, tons of players putting stops here, when a stop is triggered, it sells automatically. And when there's no buyers, it creates a trap door and you fly through it to the downside. Now again, this is now a break of the 28,000 upsloping trend line. I've been telling you in these game plans for multiple weeks now that this is what we call an upsloping trend. Trend being the key word, upsloping trend line. What this now means is that the upsloping trend has been broken. All right, now you haven't made a lower low yet. That's this point. That'll be the next nail in the coffin here in the near term. Now, if it doesn't make a lower low, okay, that could be a slight positive, but that's the next point we're watching. So I want to add that into my chart right now. For those of you that are home gamers, you guys can see again right here. Look at how close we got to it too. The flush almost took us to this level. The reason why this level is so important on Bitcoin is because this is where BlackRock came out and said, hey guys, we're filing for a spot Bitcoin ETF. If we get below that, psychologically, that's going to screw with a lot of investors' minds, right? You still have a likely scenario where a Bitcoin ETF spot is going to be approved. In fact, one was just approved in Europe recently. But if we take that out, folks, that's going to break a lot of hearts in the crypto sphere. After that level, you go down here. So let's just say we do take out 25,000, which is this point right here. If we come down and we take this next level out, this is the next level of support. It's right around 20,000. The reason why this 20,000 level, it's an even number, that's inconsequential, to be honest. It's a slight, maybe a 5% importance. The real reason why this is important is this level is where Silicon Valley Bank failed. Okay, so the bank started to fail, Bitcoin ripped. We actually touched 31,000. We then faded. BlackRock and other firms like Fidelity announced spot ETFs. We ripped up again. So this is your upsloping trend line. Now that's been broken. You now are focused on 25K. Can 25K hold? If not, you're now looking at 20,000. If that doesn't hold, you're coming back here. Now, this is the kicker, guys. The reason why Again, it's my only thesis for why Bitcoin gets back to 15,700 and maybe goes to 12 to 13, which would be your next support below that, or even 10 to 9, which to me would be max pain. You'd flush out the maximum amount of bears. Again, do I think it's going to break that? I don't know. I don't know if we're going to take out the lows. But the only reason that is going to happen, because right now, regulatory-wise, Bitcoin's in the clear. We know that. It's not on the radar of the SEC. More and more people are focused in on it, the spot ETFs. It's a lot of good news with one bad thing. And that bad thing, let's go over here, guys. Let's take a look over here. That bad thing is what you're looking at right here. This is the S&P 500. And the S&P 500, all right, has just had a monumental rally from basically, here's the 2020 lows. But this low right here, we were at around 3,500 on the S&P 500. We rallied to 4,600. Everyone was saying, hey, it's going to take out all-time highs right here. All right, I said no. I've seen this pattern before. If you go back to 2009, this pattern was here. If you go back to 1999, 2000, this same pattern, all right, this same pattern is here. All right, and by the way, if you look at the psychology of a market chart, which I showed earlier this week in my game plan, this is the pattern that shows up. This is euphoria. You then have the initial sell-off, and then as it rises, people get complacent. They think, oh, it's buy the dip. I'm going to buy back in. Everything's going to be okay. We'll go to new all-time highs. I heard all of that, and I'm sure you did too. Smarten up, because that type of stuff should give you an indication. So in any case, now we're starting to roll over. S&P futures are down again. All right, we're seeing it down again. Now, the key is this, and going back to my Bitcoin thesis, this is my only thesis for why Bitcoin gets back to 15,700 or lower. It's if this chart rolls down to this low here or goes below, Bitcoin's going a lot lower. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's your kicker. So let's just say for some crazy reason the economy gets into a bad recession. We even go test the 2020 lows down here. Okay, if that happens, I would say there's no possible way Bitcoin's not below 15,700, maybe 12, 13, maybe even 10 to 9. Now, long term, I'm a huge bull on Bitcoin, folks. To me, it's a no-brainer. If you have a long-term horizon, 5, 10 years out, it's a no-brainer. But if you want to potentially see lows, there's the chance, and it's going to be stock market related or risk asset related. All right, so the next thing I want to do here, guys, is we want to go over the S&P 500, right? So let's talk a little bit about the S&P 500. Where's your likely next stop support-wise here on the S&P 500? All right, so if you're talking about a bigger sell-off, this trend line is probably the first major stop. Now, you will have levels along the way, right? So let me go over here so we can see it a little bit better. So what we see here is this is the COVID low down here, and it connects through the October low. All right, now, as we come down, there's a couple pivot points to look at. Number one, right here, okay? This previous pivot, which was resistance because it had the big pullback and made a new low, that now becomes, and we broke above it, that now becomes support. So on a swing trade basis, I'm looking to buy the S&P 500 right around that level. I'm going to call it 4250, 4275. Looks like it's about 100 points below where we were yesterday. Now, already the S&P, I think I saw it was down at least 20 points this morning. So we're actually well on our way. Who knows? Maybe we see a massive sell today. Maybe that level gets hit. We'll have to see. After that, you have another pivot here, just below 4,200, and another one right here. But ultimately, these are levels to get bounces off of. This one here is the big one. That's the one where I think you have major technical support. Okay, so again, keep that in mind. You're looking at levels here on the way down on the NASDAQ and the S&P. In fact, I want to go to the NASDAQ chart now and take a quick look because the NASDAQ's getting hammered this morning. By the way, NVIDIA over the last week has been one of the only reasons why the markets in the NASDAQ haven't gotten crushed even more. Today, NVIDIA is down quite a bit. We'll see where it ends today. We're going to go over individual stocks as well. I actually have some crypto charts I want to go over. We'll even look at gold real quick. Okay, so here's your NASDAQ chart, and we can see very, very clearly that we're starting to roll over, right? So, let me bring this up here. There we go. So here's your NASDAQ short-term top right here. Now, one of the indicators I want to show you here, go to your weekly chart. All right, now see this candle right here, okay? This candle right here was a topping tail on the weekly. Topping tails on the weekly charts, or even topping tails in general, are a significant reversal signals. When this happened, I told you guys about it in this game plan. All right, not only that, but if we just flip back to the S&P 500, let's just go back to the spiders here, or the S&P. All right, if we go to the daily chart, this is something else to look at. All right, this here was a reversal engulfing candle. Reversal engulfing, which occurred the same time as the topping tail on the NASDAQ, it told us something was amiss. All right, now again, what I ended up doing is I continued to add to my shorts all the way up here. Now we're starting to take profits on some of our shorts. Now I have a lot of shorts out there, so again, we'll continue to take profits as we go lower and lower. But the key is the chart was signaling these type of things, guys. And again, the chart tells you, it guides you. Just most people don't know how to read the charts. Now, one of the things I always say to people is this. When you're looking at a chart, it looks like a bunch of nonsense to most people. But think about it like this. This chart is a foreign language. Whatever foreign language you don't know how to read, that's what this is. Your job is to learn that foreign language. When you learn it, you can tell what the chart is saying with high probability. High probability is also the key term. There's nothing guaranteed in trading. We know that. But again, high probability. All right, I want to just show you the spiders here too, because I think this is important here. We can see here, we're down about $2.2 on the spiders today. And let me just get back to that chart. But again, just something to keep in mind. Where's the S&P? Well, let's go back to the NASDAQ. I want to show you guys where the NASDAQ is likely headed here. If we go to the NASDAQ composite, which is down sharply this morning, and we zoom out here on the chart, a couple levels to pay attention to, and let me just bring up my trend tool here. We're getting very close to this one. All right, this one right here is around 13,150. So we're actually getting very close here. This one is going to be a big one. So again, today, if we hit this, this could be a short-term bottom for a bounce. In fact, I've been actually inching into some longs, believe it or not. I know that sounds crazy, but this is what a swing trader does, guys. When you start to see heavy sell-offs where they're starting to get oversold, I start to nibble on longs. When we're up here and we're overbought and everyone's bullish, I'm starting to nibble on shorts. All right, I'm a counter trend trader. You'll hear this a lot. A lot of people will say to you, don't fight the trend. Well, yeah, if you don't know how to read the charts, don't even freaking think about fighting the trend. If you learn to read the charts, they will give you clues. It's amazing. All right, people drive me nuts when they're like, oh, but the trend, the trend, the trend. And then what you'll see is the markets collapse and they're still holding their longs. And it's like, okay, dude, what the heck's going on here? So in any case, there you go right there on the NASDAQ. If we continue down, there's another technical level right here. This will be an epic level at 12,270 on a technical basis. Pivot high, pivot high, pivot highs here. That's another level. And then ultimately, if we look at these charts here, what we can see is that we have, and let me just do that again here. All right, what we can see here is we have the COVID pivot points right here. We take that line, we drag it up underneath, and that's your major one. That's the one that coexists with the S&P trend line that was upsloping from COVID low, 11,150. So support 1, support 2, support 3, those are your big supports on the way down. This one will be the biggest because, again, it will be a biggest drop into it. I would expect this one to yield a significant multi-week, maybe multi-month bounce. But again, eventually I think we're going down there. And by the way, eventually I think we're even breaking lower. My thesis remains the same, guys. In these game plans, all right, in these game plans, I've told you and I've shown you macro data up the yin-yang that has shown you how weak the underbelly is. And I've shown you how even though people are like, oh, no recession, yield curve inverted, where's the recession? The yield curve, only when it uninverts, that's when the recession. So I don't know where people get this stuff, but they do not read the proper data. And they like to gloss over it because it fits their bullish bias. All right, I'm a trader. When things are one way, I go bearish. When things are the other way, I go bullish. I have no love for any one stock or any one crypto. They are used for me, and this is what I hope each and every one of you do. They are used for me to make income for my family. So in other words, I use them and I get rid of them when there's not a lot of significant opportunity. People fall in love with stocks, aka Tesla, aka Bitcoin or some of these other coins, and what they do is they get so wrapped up in the love, which, by the way, if it's person to person, great. But when you fall in love with an asset, it's not going to love you back. It's not going to be like, oh, Johnny, I don't want to fall because Johnny is in love with me and wants it to go up. No, it's not going to care. You have to follow it and use it. Use it and be neutral. Be logical. That's the way to success. All right, we're going to jump back over here, guys. I want to show you some crypto charts. We'll go over gold, then we'll go over some stock levels as well here. So let's just take a look at Ethereum, Ethereum's chart. So Ethereum's chart here, guys, we had this upsloping channel. Upsloping channels eventually break down. Didn't guarantee it was going to be here, but eventually this will break down. Look at the flush. I had a short with verified investing crypto members. We took our money and said, thank you very much. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to go lower. It just means that risk-reward-wise, I said, okay, well, if it bounces back and retraces here, we could short it again. But let's book that profit. Your next support on this thing is right down around 1,400. 1,400 would be your next major support here. Remember, this is the one in yesterday's game plan and the day before game plan where you know what I showed you guys, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder. We calculated out the ultimate target of a break of this head and shoulders. And you know what it gave us? You remember, if you watched this the last couple days, it gave us this level down here, which also coincides with this level. You're looking at an $1,100 price target on Ethereum. And by the way, that's triggered now. That's triggered. So now the only way this untriggers is if it closes back above the neckline. You get back here on a daily close, it's negated. And by the way, every pattern formation has a negative, right? It has something that negates it. So as long as you're down here and you don't get back above here on a closing basis, this is game on, eventual. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to bounce here. It could bounce here back to here, but eventually it should go to the 1,100 level. All right? Okay, let's go to a couple others. I have been nibbling on some of these altcoins a little bit with Verified Investing crypto members. Again, check it out at verifiedinvesting.com. Again, I put out trade alerts. I'm very finicky about trade alerts, meaning I don't do a lot unless there's action. Now there's been action, so they're flowing out like crazy. Verified Investing Crypto at verifiedinvesting.com. Take a look here. This is why I'm starting to get interested. You're almost back to double bottom. When I get interested in something, I don't go all in. I nibble. Nibbling or essentially dollar cost averaging. So again, nibble in this range. If it gets down to here, I can nibble again, slowly build a position. I'm not going to look for Matic to go up here. I couldn't, again, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what the heck's going to happen in 5 years or 2 years or 1 year from now. But on a technical basis, could from 55 cents it bounce back to 60 or 65? Sure. Make me 10%, 12%, 15%. See you later. That's what I've done over and over again. 96+% success rate in Verified Investing Crypto. All right, let's go to Cardano real quick here. We'll just look at a couple more of these. Then I want to get to some other stocks because there's some stock levels coming in. Cardano's getting a bounce here. Same kind of deal, right? You have this technical level. Look at this little pivot low right from here to here, and look at the low. Look at the bounce. All right, now again, do I think this is going to go back up here? No, not with Ripple and the appeals process. But do I think it could get back to 30 cents? Yeah. That's a nice little gain. Again, swing trades. Swing trades, in and out, stress-free, small positions. Just do it over and over again. You don't go all in on any of this crap. I don't even go all in on any stock, right? It just doesn't make sense. All right, we're going to jump over to this screen now. Let's keep this rocking and rolling. And we got to look at some of these stocks because they are coming in, guys. They are coming in fast and furiously. And I actually have levels. Here's your Microsoft, right? We have Microsoft, which is now getting very, very close to some key technical levels. All right, I have a gap fill basically at where we currently are. I would say 310 to 312, and you can see the line right here from these pivots here, right over there's a gap fill right here, and actually we're kind of a fraction below it, but there should be some support in this 310 to 313 level. If it flushes through that, you could be headed for this little pivot, and then there's a gap fill here. But I honestly think that's starting to look a little oversold for a quick little trading opportunity. NVIDIA, guys, let's take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA right now is down about $7 on the day. To me, the only thing that matters, and this has earnings next week, so be careful. All right, and again, I have no idea what earnings will be. But for me, on a technical basis, this was a big reversal candle, just like the spiders one at the top. That has to be respected. If it takes out this low, watch out below. Takes out this low, watch out below. All right, then it's going probably, well, you'll have gap window here, but eventually you're heading right back here. All right, so again, this is your low. I wouldn't get bearish, majorly bearish on NVIDIA until it takes that out. If it does, then that should be a sell signal. Otherwise, it looks to me, and I could just put this trend line in right now, but it looks to me like you got a little bit of a parallel channel starting to form here, and we drag this down right to here. It looks to me like a parallel channel. Oh, you guys can't see that because, there we go. So there's your parallel channel, right? So parallel channel to the downside. Here's your low, kind of comes up here. You're kind of hovering here. You could easily pull back in this lower range, but again, watch that low pivot there. All right, couple other charts out here, guys, as we continue on. I did want to show you the Netflix chart. This is getting interesting as well. The Netflix chart, there's a gap fill. Well, there's a couple levels. So we're trading at 400 right now. The big one that I'm watching for on this chart is going to be, and let me erase these lines, is going to be this gap fill right here. So if you get to 378, that's a major level here for a buy. Right now you're at 400. So there's still a ways to go, but I think ultimately this was a blow off top on earnings. Then you had the down move, small bounce, down move. Maybe you get a small bounce, but ultimately that's where you're headed. This becomes in a buy range at 378 for a swing trade level there. All right, couple other charts here I want to go over. Let's look at Apple, see what Apple's doing. Apple's just gotten crushed, guys. Again, down another looks like $1.50 this morning on this chart. Let's go into that one. Here's some trend lines. We know that this was your long-term uptrend. Look at how it broke right there, right? So it broke right there, right here, and then just catapulted down. It even flushed right through this support. Now you're getting to a level where it's starting to get not quite interesting yet. In fact, I'm going to show this right now, but this is your new level, right? So again, if we look at this point of interest, where does Apple become a buying opportunity? It's going to be right here, here, right through here. There's a gap fill right there. Draw that line across. It's right here, 166. 166 on Apple per technicals if this were to flush. And listen, it's at 172.65 right now pre-market. So this is getting really darn close. All right, so again, just continuing to rock and roll. I know there's a lot of charts to go over. I wish I had more time. I could do this stream today for like an hour plus easily. I do want to show gold real quick, guys. Gold is just coming off key support. Please take a look here. Here's your daily chart on gold. I've talked to you guys about my favoritism for gold. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, well, but look at crypto. Look at the stock market. How is he loving gold? Well, I mean, again, when you see crypto dropping in one day 10%, when the stock market begins to collapse, and I see a long-term bullish pattern here starting to uptick, that's why. Because sometimes it's about protecting liquidity, protecting your assets with something that's not as volatile, it might only go up 5-10% a year, but if everything else can dump 10, 20, 30%, I will take that every day of the week. Again, just notice the chart, guys. This is a great chart here on gold. Pivot high to pivot high. Here's your breakout. We broke out. We retraced. We bounced. And now we retraced. And gold's up today. Gold again. Look at what gold's doing. Stock market down. Crypto down. Where are people rotating money? Where's the safe play? Gold. Gold is a safe haven. All right, the US dollar is too, by the way, but the US dollar actually hit resistance here. Let's take a look at that real quick as well. All right, so if we go to the US dollar, the Dixie, and I'll leave with this, guys, as we getting close to the opening bell here, the dollar's actually rallied up above this technical level, but look at this. All right, look at this. If we take a trend line and we connect it from this high, look, that to me now becomes the key. So if we just look at this as a technical level, this now tells us we're at resistance on the US dollar, right? So again, very simply put, draw that trend line in, pivot high, pivot high, pivot high. You don't know. I mean, maybe the dollar continues up here. That's possible. But you have to respect it. That's a very, very good trend line. My guess is the dollar actually might start pulling back in, which again could signal a weakening projective economy or projections of the economy. That's going to be good for gold as well if the dollar starts to weaken. Wow. There's a lot to cover, guys. I mean, again, There's so much. I will be back Monday morning at 9 a.m. I've got to get to trading now. The markets are 5 minutes away from the open. But I do want to say thank you for tuning in. You guys are rock stars. Please share this around. I'm going to do my best to make sure that you're on point. Remember, I will make mistakes. Everyone does. No one's perfect. But I will deliver you high probability setups consistently. And I will give you the lowdown, the stuff you're not hearing in mainstream media, that you, when you're in your Twitter sphere, you're not getting. I will tell you the truth because I'd much rather, for me, not have my head in the sand. I want to know the truth. I want to know both sides. Let me make an informed decision. Thank you for tuning into the game plan. Follow me again at verifiedinvesting.com or at inthemoneystocks.com. And again, have a great weekend.